Next, I'd like to call up Mr. Jim Moore.
Okay, now my name is James A. Moore. I'm from Dunbar, West Virginia. Well, one of the West Virginia countries. I went into the service at Fort Thomas, Kentucky. From there, I went for basic training in Atlantic City, New Jersey, during a Miss America contest. That was fun. From there, I went to Chicago. That was even greater. Chicago is the best liberty town you'll find anywhere during the service. Tickets to anything you wanted to go to, any ball game, any movie, any play, we went to them. At that time, I went to the USO next door, and I had a talk with none other than Eleanor Roosevelt. She was talking about the Eagle Squadron in London, over in England. And it was interesting to her to see that. From there, I was supposed to go to Homestead, Florida, to be in the Ferry Command. I was trained in radio school in Chicago to be an operator. So I was trained to be a radio navigator to ferry planes over from Homestead, Florida to Africa. They got to Boca Raton, put me off and said, "You're in radar school." And I became a radar mechanic. It was ROM, I don't know what they called it then. After Boca Raton, went to Orlando, Florida. And there, I joined the 425th. When I got in there, there's only about 16 people in the outfit. So I was one of the earliest ones in the 425th. We trained there, but from there we went to Dunella Air Base, which is up near Ocala and Silver Springs. We trained there, and it was, well, I spent a month in the hospital for playing football. I know that. It wasn't much fun. But then we took a train to Hammer Field, California, in Fresno. At Fresno, well, we took so much assignments and logistics, got things out of the way. Then we went to Visalia, California. It's a good little town, but now it's a dairy town, I think, and it's kind of stinking now because most of the cattle there. Visalia, we did get a little bit of free time. So one night, the girl I knew worked for an importing company there. So she was importing whiskey, so she got some tequila. And we went out in the park, about 3 or 4 of us, and got feeling good. One of the girls got pretty bad. She got sick. I mean, she didn't get sick. She almost passed out. So we took her home and knocked on the door. Nobody home. So I went around to the door side and I found a window. Pushed the window up and put her in there. So we put her in there, and the couch is right next to the window. My buddy, Michael Burke, he wanted to come in, so okay, come on in, Mike. So he took a leap and he hit the windowsill. He went back in the brush. Okay, about that time we heard some rackets and people. So I got out, we crawled through the brush and got out there, let the girl in there. Okay, that was all right, but when we got back to the base, we called there and said, "How was the girl? How was she?" "Oh, she's just fine. There's just one thing, you put her in the wrong house." So we went from we went from Visalia to Boston. And of course, Miles Standish is his port, and we shipped out on the USS Brazil. So we got overseas, and we went to Charmy Downs. Charmy Downs is right outside of Bath. And we got to watch a few bombings. The Germans were hitting Bath pretty hard at that time. They wanted to make an impression on the tourist industry. So they were hitting that. But then we went to, I can't remember, Scorton. Scorton's on the Scots border. There we trained and did a little bit of everything there. And while I was there, I got assigned to go to Brighton Beach. Brighton Beach is a resort town in southern England. And it's called the Hot Corner. It's right the closest one to France. And the planes that were shot up came and landed on Brighton Beach's airport. And it was a sight sometimes to see them. They come in and the parachutes out to stop the planes and everything, and especially the bombers. We got a call along in the night saying, hurry back to Scorton, it's 300 miles away. So we got to get in the Jeep when it was driving, and 300 miles in English country, cross country, is rough. We had to stop for gas for one of the British bases. We got back to Scorton and then shipped over on an English ship to Utah Beach. Utah Beach, it was just as bad as Omaha, really. And we went on the LCI, went in, and this ensign didn't want to take the boat in very far, so he left it out a little bit. And Bud Anderson wouldn't stand for it. So Bud Anderson, he drew his pistol and said, you're going to take us in. So the ensign said, well, he took it in part of the way, but we got out and we waded it through water, got up to here. Some short guys had to put on, two guys took a rifle and they held on to it, short guys, and took them in. So the ensign said he didn't want to get shot out of water. Well, I don't blame him there, but we didn't want to drown either with all the equipment we had. And we got to Cool Mirrors. I don't know how to say it, but I call it Cool Mirrors. It was a nice little town, and we had fun. A bunch of us played basketball, so we went down and started playing around with the basketball. And the local university said, will you come back Sunday and play us? And I said, sure, we'll play your university team. So we got just a bunch of pickup guys, went back, and it was out on a concrete floor, like a marketplace, and they had a basket on each end. Well, we started out playing them, and they had sneakers on. They could run fast. They couldn't dribble though, they ran fast. We had army boots on concrete, playing, and wasn't very fast. So we were taking a beating there for a while, and some truck driver pulled up, and he said, you need help? We said, yes. He said, well, I used to play for Oregon State. And so he came in, and he made the big difference in the game. So we got to, I don't know whether we won or not, but we came going close. And then they asked us to play the girls' team, so we played the girls' team. So we had a little fun with the girls' team, just playing around. One of the professors invited us to his home, so we went to the home of the professor and had a long talk. He appreciated things, and we did. He said, don't do those things, don't do this, and don't do that. He's afraid we were going to do the wrong things. So we went back, and running around Cool Mirrors, I saw the subway station. I said, hey, wait. let's go down there and see if it's running. And it was running. It was going to Paris. So we hopped on down there and got our ticket. And, well, I had to go to the bathroom. And I told the girl, there's two women there. I told them I had to go. I said, well, go over there. Okay, I went over there. It was dark, pitch dark. I came back. I said, it's pitch dark. She said, I can't do anything. And she said, okay. She got a flashlight. And she came over and held the flashlight while I was over there. I said, you got that much nerve? I got the same amount of nerve. So I did. And being from West Virginia, I'm not used to that. So, and we went on into Paris. And luckily there were two of our cooks. Well, they're KPs, probably permanent KPs. They're Mexicans. So they heard these Spanish people talking. And we started talking to them, and they were telling us where to get off and everything in Paris. We got off, and when guided us over, we went to Red Cross Hospital. And there was prisoners in there. They're disabled, you know. I don't know, they were old people. They were taking care of in the Red Cross. So they fed us. We got boiled potatoes and boiled carrots. But that was good. It's good for them. We left. And going back, my buddy, Gene Roberts, he looked back at the Notre Dame, and the guy said, that's Notre Dame. He looked at it a while. He said, well, they got a good football team. And we went on, and it showed us, first of all, I saw this old man over there, and he was halfway crying. So I went over and talked to him. He said he was on Merchant Marine, and he was captured in Africa. And they brought him up, and of course he was too old to do anything. And I looked at his paper, and he was from Boston, Massachusetts. So I said, well, and I tried to encourage him. And he says, you know, I'll never see this nice country again. He says he's ready to die over there. And I remember that guy to this day saying that. Well, we went on, and he took us down to another theater, and we got to stand in the back. And I saw my first bare-breasted review. About 20 women doing military steps and reviews of that. And I got an education fast. So after that, we went to 18. 18 was a nice town, but we spent a lot of winter time there, and it was rough. And it seemed like Reims was not too far. So I was always the one to want to wander off anyhow. So I went into 18. And I sat in a cafe, and we got a ride. We had a shuttle running to Reims, Cathedral City. I sat down, drank champagne. I thought, I don't know how big a bottle it was. I know it couldn't have been a full big bottle, but I must have drank every bit of it, and I missed my ride back. So I was asking all around the town, where could I go? So I knocked on the doors. And, you know, up in there, they were half German anyhow. They were sympathizers with German. So I finally got some girl answer. And she said, well, she just kind of laughed. And says, okay, just wait a while. So she came out after a while. We went down, watched the prisoners loading on their planes. So I got a place to sleep that night. But I don't know how I got back to the base. I don't know. Then we went to Frankfurt. Frankfurt was a place that's kind of scary to me because the Germans hadn't been too long here. Well, I'm going to take another story back. We went to a house of ill repute, a bar, and they had a lot of women there. And there was about 5 or 6 of us. Well, while we were in the bar, this woman Luckily, I could speak French, so I got along with them pretty good. She showed me, took me up, showed me her chest of drawers there, and it's full of money. I mean, it's stacked about that high, thick with money. So by the time we were up there, all of a sudden we heard gunshots. I mean, they were raking the building, and we didn't know what was going on. So went down the courtyard, and there's a main door to it in the courtyard, and about 5 or 6 doors in the courtyard. Everybody got their rifle and got in the doorways, and the woman and I guess the madam, and I went down to open the door and talked to them, and it was the police and the Free French. They so happened they had a bunch of Germans trapped up in the upper floors of that building, and we got out without any trouble. They let us go. And Nuremberg. I don't know whether it was Frankfurt or Nuremberg, but the thing I remember most about that, we had a decontam truck and we'd send it out for water. So the decontam truck went out for water and came back. They got a loop full of wine. They went into a winery and these guys said, "You want some wine?" I said, "Yeah." So they loaded it full. So everybody got a 5-gallon can with a gasoline can, and they got it full of wine. Everybody had one under their bunk. I don't know whatever happened to all of it, but nobody could drink it and all that wine. But it made the trip easier anyhow. From there on, we went to Nuremberg, and then we shipped out to Marseille, Camp Lucky Strike, and we had with us a Marine colonel and a Marine sergeant with our outfit. I forgot about that. And I wondered now why they had it. We were scheduled to go to the Philippines with the 7th Marine Division and invade Indochina. And they dropped the bomb, so they sent us home on the ship. I'd hate to see the ship throwing food overside, but they threw the food in the bay. Get rid of it. Potato sacks and all. Then we shipped back to Fort Joyce Kilmer. They sent me home. I got 2 furloughs. I stayed home for a long time before I got back. And I was discharged. I didn't know what my rank was a tech sergeant when I got out, but I never drew a tech sergeant pay. All in all, war's fun, they say. That was the last fun war. And with the night fighters, wonderful group of people. They're great. I'd do it again any day. Have fun, and I salute you.